Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Trader with me, Bring It On. Let's speak to Kibellah. Well, first... Alright, we'll level up Kibellah. So she is a Blade Dancer. Blade Dancers are swift and deadly masters of the sword, specializing in delivering flurries of rapid strikes, able to sacrifice a part of their health to enhance their close combat capabilities. Blade Dancers prefer to avoid enemy attacks, either by parrying, dodging, or quickly repositioning for enemy counterattacks. They even have the ability to parry range attacks. A core focus, melee, swords, movement, dodge, and parry. She has Blade Dance. The Blade Dancer makes 3 melee attacks against random targets, including allies, adjacent to the Blade Dancer, each dealing 50% of their normal damage. Now if there's only one enemy beside her, she'll attack them 3 times, doing 150% damage. A Blade Dance is a melee burst attack that does not count toward the attack limit per turn. This ability can only be used with a sword equipped. If 2 swords are equipped, the Blade Dancer makes 2 attacks with each one. And Medikai, because she uses health to boost her... She sacrifices her own health to boost her capabilities. She has Medikai so she can heal herself in combat as well. Death from above. The Blade Dancer leaps into the air and lands on the selected cell. Upon landing, they deal 9 damage to all adjacent enemies. This leap can be made to any unoccupied cell within a 3-cell radius in the Blade Dancer's line of sight. This movement does not provoke attacks of opportunity. The Blade Dancer cannot jump to a cell that is inaccessible in combat. This ability can be used multiple times per turn, but each use requires a charge to be spent. The Blade Dancer gains +1 charge of this ability each time they kill a target, excluding kills made with Death from Above. This ability can only be used with a sword equipped. Death Waltz. The Blade Dancer uses Death from Above against a target enemy without spending a charge, immediately making a melee attack against that enemy. The Blade Dancer repeats this combination up to 3 times against random available targets. If it is impossible to use Death from Above, the Blade Dancer only makes a melee attack against a random available target. It can be the same enemy. In Footsteps of Death. Every time an enemy is killed by the Blade Dancer's allies, the number of MP on the Blade Dancer's next turn is increased by +2. So I think dual weapon combat. I think I'll have her dual wield. I don't normally care for dual wielding. I usually try to avoid it, so I may not grab that yet. Using a weapon and shield is a little different though. I guess open the veins? That's part of her heroic ability, I believe. So wound streaming blood. A creature with a blood blessed or bloodstained effect gain +1 stack of this effect each time it suffers damage from bleeding, burning, or toxin. Bleeding should be pretty easy to accommodate. I don't know if that's the path I'm going to go or not. I have an idea. Let's do dual weapon combat. The character can attack with the second weapon in their current weapon set in addition to the usual 1 attack per round. This attack suffers a -20 penalty to weapon skill and ballistic skill and costs +1 AP more. And weapon skill. Might do Captive Audience for more bleed effect. So the Blade Dancer's next attack inflicts bleeding at 9 on all targets hit. These targets must pass a toughness resistance test with a -20 penalty or become immobilized for 1 round. All enemies immobilized by Captive Audience count as full cover for the Blade Dancer and their allies when adjacent to those enemies. And athletics. Weapon skill. Maybe Death Warden? The Blade Dancer's Medicae is now determined by weapon skill instead of intelligence, if the weapon skill is higher. The Blade Dancer deals a percentage critical damage. It can use medikits as if having Medicae skill advancement for the corresponding feature or talent. Or, actually, Rising Tempo is probably better early on. We'll just go and grab this. We will get Rising Tempo, though. And Medicae. That increases our crit damage. And then base skill Medicae. Because why not? Or characteristic training weapon skill is probably worth grabbing. Alright, so she also has Raining Blood. Death Cult Assassin's next single target melee attack splashes blood in a 5-cell cone behind the target. The Death Cult Assassin and allies in the affected area gain the Blood Blessed effect. Every enemy in this area, including the initial target, suffer the Blood Stained effect. Both effects last for 2 rounds. Additionally, all the cells in the affected area are now covered in blood for 2 rounds. Whenever a creature interacts with such a cell, moves there or stands there at the moment when the effect is applied, it receives an additional +1 stack of the Blood Blessed or Bloodstained effect accordingly. Additionally, for every 10 wounds the Death Cult Assassin loses throughout the entire combat, each creature affected by Blood Blessed or Bloodstained gains +1 stack of the corresponding effect. So Bloodstained, the creature suffers +2% more damage for each stack of the Bloodstained effect, and Blood Blessed, the creature deals +2% more damage for each stack of the Blood Blessed effect. Alright, Death Cult Assassin. The assassins of the Death Cult that is formed in the depths of the Von Valancia's flagship are sworn to their duty of serving the undying Emperor. Their movements in combat are akin to a dance with death. The blades in their hands are weapons of faith. The act of killing is their sacred mission, and the blood they spill and draw becomes a ritual offering to him. And fortune. A Voidborn character can reroll any failed attack, dodge, parry, characteristic, or skill test with a 20% chance of success. This chance cannot be greater than the base success chance of the roll. Additionally, any enemy dodge or parry against a Voidborn character has a 20% chance to fail after a successful roll. And Voidborn. A Voidborn are humans birthed in the belly of a void vessel or aboard an ancient orbital satellite. Those who have lived their lives on void ships become inured to some extent due to the reality-altering process of warp travel into living in low or zero-gravity environments. In many cases, their features are drawn and their skin pallid. They may even have minor deformities or strangeness to their speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others. An exact prediction as a flagship post ability. Arc Augury gains +1 range and lasts for 2 weapon attacks instead of just 1.
Domin.
Kibellah puts away the dagger she's been using to reopen her freshly closed wounds. I'd like to know more about the sacred mysteries of the Death Cult.
The Vizier taught us that there are many like us throughout the Imperium who spill blood in his name. Death cultists, as they call us. He said that no two death cults are the same, just as there are no two identical stars in the void. I will tell you about the blood-spun web, but I cannot speak on behalf of all death cults.
What is the cult's purpose?
The blood-spun web holds the bays of the flagship together with the threads of its faith. Such is our service to the Domini of the Von Valancius line. The Undying One commanded the Domini to embark on a ship and sail the void's expanse. And thus, it became our duty to protect your dynasty and the Ark that became its home. This great relic of blood and adamantine. Some loathe and fear us. They call us murderers and reapers. Others call us dancers of death, who send the souls of the dead on their way. Both are right. Both are wrong. We are servants of the undying Emperor. When he whispers that the time has come for a righteous martyr's soul to be laid in his blessed hands, we come to claim it. When he whispers that the wicked must know of his wrath, we come to reap. This is how we maintain order on the ship, unseen and guided by death's will.
You hear a whisper in your mind telling you to kill someone, and you obey. Have you ever considered that these whispers could be a deception orchestrated by minions of the archenemy?
Death's whisper is unmistakable. It is not like the murmur of stars or the hiss of corruption. It is truthful, pure, unyielding. Only the most eminent of us, the High Spinners, can hear the whisper of the Undying One and give voice to his will. They must hone their senses and temper their body and soul for years before his call can reach them. If it puts you more at ease, you can think of these whispers as his providence.
Bella shakes her head slowly. How do you know you have never made a mistake? How can you be sure you have never wrongly robbed one of your victims of their life?
We are carried along by a current of blood in the great river of fate. Life is not given or taken away by chance. If I see an enemy of humanity, my blade will sever the thread of their existence. I will not wait for a sign of his divine bidding. I am his will, and I do what must be done.
Be that as it may, your thirst for blood is troubling.
There is no thirst, only duty. Killing brings us no pleasure. We are instruments of his will, and this is how we serve him.
Let us speak about something else. Kibellah stares at you intently, perhaps too intently. She says nothing. How long has the blood-spun web been in existence?
Spinners carved the chronicles of our history on the stones of our temple long ago. But fate and time have erased our past, just as an exploding star erases a part of the galaxy from existence.
What are the responsibilities of the Vizier?
It is the Vizier's duty to watch over the flock, to lead those who want to learn more of the Undying One, but are fearful of death, and guide those who seek answers in death, but do not know how to live. The Vizier protects all, those who do not know we exist, those who are grateful for our service, and even those who hate us. The Vizier sees what is to come, remembers the past, and accepts the present. They spin a web of faith and blood so strong that no enemy may sunder it. This is the Vizier's burden. This is the legacy of the matriarch spider.
Who was the matriarch spider?
It is said that she was one of many, born in the void, the Domin's subject. She honored death instead of life, and for this, she was persecuted. It is said that when the arch-enemy's forces invaded the flagship during a warp jump, she gathered the Undying One's servants around her and saved the ship from ruin. Together, they spun the first threads of the web to ensure that such devastation would never happen again. It is said that she was strong and indomitable, but as the years passed, her heart became as stone, and thus, the Undying One whispered her name to the one who would become the first Vizier of the blood-spun web.
Why do you call yourselves spinners?
Through blood, sweat, tears, and the strength of their convictions, the servants of the Undying One spin the souls of your subjects into threads of balance. This is why we refer to ourselves as spinners. Those who are newly committed to the blood-spun web are called lesser spinners. If they are faithful in their service to him, they may eventually become spinners. The most devout of us all are known as the High Spinners, of whom there are 7, each bearing a unique title. The Vizier, the first spinner, leads the cult. I, Kibellah, am the second spinner. The third spinner's name is Io, and there are 4 more.
Say the God Emperor is dead. There are some who might find the comparison blasphemous.
The Undying One is death itself. We serve him, and thus we serve death. This is not a comparison, attribution, or preference. It is the truth, and nothing can change it.
Kibellah frowns. Can you teach me to follow the tenets of the blood-spun web?
The tenets are knowledge, an art that is passed down from one generation of the blood-spun web to the next. Even so, There are spinners who will never fully comprehend this knowledge in the time allotted to them by the Undying One. The tenets dictate how one follows the thread of life, but they are also the thread itself, from first breath to last. The tenets cannot be taught, they must be lived. Only then will you understand.
You have satisfied my curiosity. For now. Kibellah nods slightly. Tell me about yourself.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. A spear in the hand of the Undying Emperor. I am your shield and shadow. Your blade.
Your question seems to take Kibellah by surprise. How succinct. Do you dislike talking about yourself? A look of curiosity flashes across Kibellah's face, before it is masked by her usual stoic indifference.
The tenets compel us to let our deeds speak on our behalf. There is no one in the cult who does not know me, so I have grown accustomed to taciturnity in matters regarding myself. Ask, and I will try to give you an answer that will satisfy your thirst for knowledge.
Tell me about your past.
I remember nothing of my childhood. The Vizier says this is because of my training and the injuries I received in battle. He told me it is the fate of all high spinners. The only memories I have are of the blood-spun web and the brothers and sisters who serve the cult alongside me.
A melancholy shadow passes over her face. What was it like growing up in the cult? What do you remember?
When we were young, we would sew our eyes shut and wander through the bays for months at a time. Starving, surviving, dying. This trial of darkness honed the senses of those who passed it. We were elated, for we knew we were blessed by him. When we grew older, we learned to wield our weapons, and our mentors tested us with pain, poison, and the weight of deceitful words. In time, our bodies no longer felt pain. Our blood became resistant to toxins, and our focus could not be shaken. We were at peace, for we had shed everything that could encumber our faithful service to him. When we came of age, we faced a great trial. A year-long vigil spent in unceasing prayer to the Undying One. When hunger and other base sensations faded away, we attained true comprehension of ourselves and our place in the world. Our place between life and death. We were proud, for on that day, he truly accepted us, and we accepted him.
It must have been difficult to go through all of that as a child.
It is impossible to understand the value of your body and spirit if you've never experienced physical or emotional pain. Pain is temporary, but experience endures. Experience can be sharpened like a blade and turned into mastery. I've never regretted walking the thread I was destined to follow.
Your parents, your family. You never mentioned them.
When we join the cult, we relinquish our past. The blood-spun web becomes our new family. I have seen the pain, terror, and doubt in the eyes of those who hear the Undying One whisper the names of their kin. For some, the blessing of oblivion is a gift not unlike death.
You do not wish to know what became of your family.
No.
The answer escapes Kibellah's lips before she can give it any thought. Upon realizing this, she produces a small blade seemingly out of nowhere, begins to sharpen it with pointed nonchalance. You may not remember your real family, but are you truly so unconcerned by the deaths of your fellow cultists?
It brings me comfort when my brothers and sisters cross to the other side. The Undying One has called them to his side, so they can serve him in ways we cannot.
I presume you have no friends either.
Attachment makes us weak. The weak meet their demise prematurely. But such death does not please the Undying One, for a soul must not be claimed before their time has come. It is true that spinners occasionally cross paths with those outside the cult, but such paths always diverge in the end. We may walk the same road together, but we are nothing more than temporary traveling companions. It is similar for those of your retinue. Our threads may intertwine for a time, but all will go their separate ways, as is inevitable. But not you and I, Domin. Our threads cannot be unwoven, and only the Undying One will end my service to you.
I understand you better now.
Know your enemy and prevail in battle. Know your ally and prevail in war.
Do you truly feel no pain at all?
You can see for yourself.
Kibellah removes a small leather pouch from her belt and opens it to reveal several instruments of torture. What are those?
Tools for tempering the flesh. If a spinner neglects this practice for too long, their body will weaken and their sensitivity to pain might return. If it does, they will feel the overwhelming agony of every wound they have ever endured and go mad with torment before the Undying Emperor whispers their name.
Tormenting yourself almost seems to give you pleasure.
Is it possible to experience pleasure if one feels nothing?
I will not torture you.
You honor me by taking me at my word.
The pouch vanishes as quickly as it appeared. Your fighting style is unique. You think it is something I can learn?
Your body will fail you, Domin. Your bones will break. Your tendons will snap. Your heart will stop. Our rituals of self-perfection are unending. They demand absolute dedication and decades of special training. However, if you devote the next 30 years of your life to its study, you might be able to learn the basics.
Thank you for sharing with me.
It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Gesture at the scars covering Kibellah's skin. You torture your own flesh. But what is the meaning of this ritual?
Torture? I bear the sacred marks of the Undying One's service. Death has bestowed them upon me. Though others may cherish hollow riches or meaningless beauty, it is my duty to cherish his gift of blood. Each wound is a symbol of our service to him. Each drop of blood carries his blessing. To renounce these scars is to renounce the Undying One himself.
Kibellah arches an eyebrow.
Death whispers to me, "You are worthy of bearing his marks. Tell me, Domin, do you wish to honor your flesh with his gifts?
She stops and tilts her head. Then slowly, as if in a trance, she draws her black dagger. You notice several officers exchange worried glances as they eye the blade in Kibellah's hands. Absolutely not. Put your dagger away.
A boon cannot be given to one who is not ready to receive it.
Bella sheathes her dagger. Did you ever meet Theodora von Valancius?
I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me, but the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry.
You always address me as Damen. What does that word mean?
The Gothic we use to communicate is different to that spoken on the upper decks. Domin has many meanings. Giver of life, Lord or Lady of the Ark, and Shadowless Sun. The matriarch Spider gave this title to the rogue trader who allowed her to form the blood-spun web. We use other titles as well. For example, Venai means Master of the Immaterium, or Watcher of the Veil. Vil means one who must go to the other side. Amig means one you can trust in battle.
If the Undying One whispers my name, will you carry out his will?
If the Undying One chooses to take your soul, he will take mine along with it. You will not fall by my hand, for that is not my duty.
Tell me about the Emperor's Tarot.
I use blood to read his sacred cards and hear the whisper of the Undying One. His tarot is not an answer, but a question I ask of the universe. And the universe answers with questions of its own. In this sacred communion, I perceive hundreds of possible outcomes. They are all true, and yet they are only visions. I know what will come to pass, and yet I do not.
Bella's voice is filled with reverent awe. The Emperor's Tarot is usually read by sanctioned psychers.
I am the spear of his retribution, not a witch or a sorcerer or a soothsayer. I have no strange powers, but I do bear his blessing. I do not command the veil. I am guided by his whisper and led by my faith, by the tenets. Please, do not mistake me for something I am not.
Bella's brow furrows. You occasionally feel a shiver run down your spine, or detect faint sparks in the air when you're standing next to Kibellah. It seems her powers only manifest when she is practicing divination, or in moments of pious exaltation. Kibellah herself does not seem to be aware of her gift. How did you come to have a deck of his tarot?
It is a holy relic that has been passed down from generation to generation. Only the first and second spinners are allowed to study the sacred cards and interpret their meaning. We use his tarot to guide the cult and discern the tangled threads of fate.
How many cards are in your deck?
34. There used to be more, but some have perished in the darkness of time. Their loss is a great tragedy for the blood-spun web.
Can you give me a reading?
Ask the cards, Domin, and I will listen.
Bella carefully takes out her Imperial Tarot deck. A black blade flashes before your eyes, and blood drips from her palm onto the cards. She closes her eyes and listens. What does the future hold for me? Kibellah draws 4 cards from the deck and lays them face down before you.
The first card is the young warrior. It suggests inexperience, a path of becoming. The second card is the shattered world inverted. The path will have twists, turns, and thorns, but you will gather allies along the way and find what was lost. The third, the hound inverted. Someone has marked you as their prey and is chasing you through a field of traps. The lost child. You will leap into one of those traps of your own free will and place your trust in someone truly desperate.
I have no questions at this time. Bella nods slightly. Let's speak about something else. Bella stares at you intently, perhaps too intently. She says nothing. I must take my leave.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless. Domin. May the...
Alright, and real quick. Oh, that's actually better. Well, never mind then. I'm gonna say this is better. Alright, I'm going to call it here, and next time we'll descend into the lower decks and walk the Bloodspun Path, I believe is what it's called. But for now, thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next one.